Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down a really sophisticated and frankly devastating type of financial fraud. It's called a pig butchering scam, and its impact is just staggering.
Yeah, that number is real. $75 billion. According to recent studies, that's the estimated loss from these scams in just the past few years. So you can see, this is not a small-time thing. It's a massive, global problem that runs on a very organized psychological playbook. So in this explainer, we're going to walk through what this scam is, exactly how its 5 phases work, what the terrible aftermath looks like for victims, and most importantly, what you can do to keep yourself safe. Okay, let's dive right in. First, we need to understand what we're actually dealing with here and where that really awful name comes from.
The term pig butchering is pretty grim, but it's a direct translation that perfectly describes the method. The scammers, you see, they spend weeks, sometimes even months, fattening up a target with what feels like real affection and friendship. This is all just preparation for the final slaughter, which is stealing all their money.
What makes this scam so effective and so insidious is how systematic it is. It's not random. Researchers have mapped out a very clear life cycle that plays out in 5 deliberate phases. This research shows us the exact playbook they're using. It all starts with the lure. Then it moves to building the bond. After that, they introduce the bait and get the feed going, and it all leads up to the squeeze. It's a carefully designed journey meant to lead a victim straight to financial and emotional ruin.
So phase 1, the lure. It's exactly what it sounds like. This is all about the scammer finding a subtle way into a victim's digital life, and it usually starts with a seemingly harmless, everyday interaction.
And they get in through 2 main doors. Believe it or not, almost 70% start with a simple, out-of-the-blue text message. Something like, "Hey, is this John?" You reply, "Wrong number," and they apologize. But then they use that opening to start a conversation. The other big entry point? Dating apps, where they create these perfect, too-good-to-be-true profiles.
Now, this next part is the fattening phase, and it's what makes this whole thing so cruel. Unlike a lot of other scams that try to get your money quickly, these scammers are incredibly patient. They're willing to invest a huge amount of time to build what feels like a real, genuine connection.
And they are masters of social engineering. We're talking daily chats, good morning and good night texts. They'll mirror your opinions on everything to make you feel like you've found your soulmate. They'll share fake stories about their own struggles to build empathy. They even send lots of photos and do audio or video calls to prove they're a real person. So once that deep trust is locked in, the conversation starts to shift, very casually. The scammer will start talking about this exclusive, can't-miss investment opportunity, almost always in cryptocurrency. They frame it like it's their own secret to wealth, and they want to share it with you. Now, to make this bait totally irresistible, they guide you to these super slick, professional-looking investment apps or websites that, they control completely. They'll encourage you to make just a small first investment, just to prove to you how easy it is to make a profit. And this right here is the masterstroke. They let the victim make a small, successful withdrawal early on. Just like this person said, they turned $25 into $100 and were able to take it out. That single move just shatters any doubt. The victim now thinks, okay, this is real, the money's real, and this person I trust has given me a golden ticket.
With the victim totally convinced, the final phase begins, the squeeze. The scammer uses that deep emotional bond, plus the proof from that first withdrawal, to push for huge sums of money. They'll invent urgent, time-sensitive deals, using every manipulation tactic in the book to create a fear of missing out and get the victim to pour in everything they have.
The difference here is it's devastating to look at. A scam might start with a tiny investment, maybe $75, but the research shows victims reporting average losses of $185,000. That's how a little seed of trust is grown to steal someone's entire life savings. So, what happens when the money runs out? Let's look at how the scam ends, and the absolutely brutal aftermath for the person who's been targeted. Once the victim can't or won't invest any more money, the end comes fast. They'll try to withdraw their big profits, but suddenly their account is frozen for some fake tax or fee, and then, poof. The scammer cuts all contact, deletes their profiles, and just vanishes into thin air. And if you can believe it, sometimes the nightmare isn't even over. The research found that more than half of victims get targeted a second time. New scammers, or maybe even the same ones, will reach out pretending to be law enforcement or a recovery service.
They exploit the victim's desperation, promising to get their money back for a fee, of course. And we have to talk about the fact that the financial loss is just one part of the damage. The emotional trauma is immense. That name, pig butchering, it's so degrading that it creates this profound sense of shame. And that shame is a big reason why about 73% of victims never, ever report the crime.
All right, we've dissected this awful scam. Now let's turn to the most important part. How do we actually fight back and protect ourselves?
Well, the research points to some clear things that platforms can do. Social media companies could use AI to spot common scam scripts, like that wrong number trick. And banks could use their systems to flag weird activity, like a customer who suddenly starts making huge transfers to a crypto exchange.
And here are 3 things you can do immediately. First, verify the person. Do a reverse image search on their profile pictures. You'll often find they've been stolen from some random person's account. Second, verify the platform. Never, ever use an investment site someone you just met online recommends without doing your own serious research. And third, verify the pressure. Anyone pushing you to act fast and keep a financial opportunity a secret, that is a massive, flashing red flag.
When you boil it all down, the entire pig butchering scam is about weaponizing trust. It's a chilling reminder that in these schemes, a human connection isn't a relationship, it's just a resource to be mined.
It really is a critical question to ask yourself before you reply to that next random text or swipe right on that next, seemingly perfect profile.